Hi, and welcome to Ant's 1 Minute and a Bit week. In the wake of Glenn Maxwell's massive 145 not out against Sri Lanka this week, I want to talk about another big hitter, George Bonner, one of the most powerful batsmen to play the game. Nowadays, we're impressed but not surprised when a batsman in a T20 match slogs a ball 160 metres plus, but this is with bats the size of tree trunks. Legend has it that at a match at Kennington Oval in 1880, Bonner hit the ball out of the ground 155 metres with a toothpick. He once smashed a ball through the face of the clock on the pavilion at the MCG. In 1882 versus Yorkshire, he hit 35, consisting of 5 sixes, and all 5 of them leaving the ground, because in those days, to get a 6, the ball had to leave the ground, not just clear the rope. Bonner had one style of play. A typical account of his innings was, the big man slogged, of course. Once when congratulated for clearing the fence, he replied, "Why? I only blocked it." It is said that his batting suffered when he tried to build an innings. His average sees this out. 512 runs in 17 tests at an average of 17.06 with a high score of 128. Now we don't know how many balls that took, but it was done in 115 minutes and he scored 128 of the 169 runs scored whilst he was out in the middle. Bonner was clearly a man made for T20 cricket. Perhaps the most notable thing about Bonner, however, is his looks. Here's some quotes. John Ruskin, the leading Victorian art critic of the Victorian era, described him as a young god, while poet and satirist E.V. Lucas described him as a superb figure, like a god from another planet. An English peer who visited him in Australia said that he was the most perfect physical specimen of humanity he had ever known, and he was in a better position than most to know what he was talking about because when his lordship paid this historic visit, Bonner was in his bath. Now I don't know about you, but I'm not sure he'd match up against today's Julios. Clearly, if he wanted to be the best looking man going around, the 1880s was the time for Bonner. But if his desire was to have been remembered as a great of the game, the T20 fields of today is where he would have made his mark. So today's tip is to remember that what's appreciated and respected as good work is often an artefact of the time in which it occurs. The point here is that whilst you have to pay attention to the gods of the past, be careful bowing to them just because of their reputation. Likewise, if what you're doing doesn't seem to suit the flow of the game around you, if you think it's right and good work, then back yourself and maybe you'll be vindicated by history. Respect and value judgments are often just artefacts of their time. I'll see you next week.